to my trip next year.
Hey, Tim.
Yo, what's up?
As Andrew Taylor would say, we have Tim below here. Did you see me calling you the Paul Bunyan of life insurance yesterday?
Yeah, I saw that, man. That was
great.
Smooth. That was
Tim.
Did you see that? You see the gift?
Timber. That was awesome. I even commented on that, and I'm not much of a commenter.
I was too busy out saving families. I couldn't look at my Slack.
Nice. Mike, I love it. That's pretty good, Brian.
Oh, that's great. Saving families.
Good morning, Madison.
Good morning.
How are you?
Doing all right. Thank you. How are you?
You're welcome. I'm very good. Thank you. I'll stop messing with you. You turn your mute off and I say something, you turn it back off, you turn it back on. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Good morning, buddy. Good morning, Amy. You already got dogs growling and barking and everything else behind you. So, yeah. Good morning, Gregory.
Good morning, brother.
So, good morning. Good morning. So it looks like we got the usual suspects on. So I'll cover as much as you guys want me to. We do have a couple of minor things to toss at you guys so you guys can make a few adjustments in reference to the AML stuff. So Amy, I'm going to lean on you for that. And then wanted to add a couple more little wrinkles. Tim and I were talking yesterday, and maybe we can put our heads together from a recruiting standpoint. Recruiting is starting to really pick up again. I don't know if you guys can feel the momentum from a sales perspective too. Not that that's what this meeting is, but we're starting to have a lot more people that were basically coming here just to sell that are starting to recruit. So it's pretty funny. People come here, they get on these meetings, they don't take notes and all that kind of stuff, which is not a big deal. And then they get that first recruit and they go, oh my God. And they forget everything that they've done on these meetings, which is pretty funny. But it's awesome to see some new people that are starting to recruit and they're starting to have some success as well. I won't harp on you guys too much about the 2-week stuff, but I have 2 people, just to let you guys know some personal stuff that's going with me in reference to recruiting. I've had several people that are like, on the cusp of that end of the 2-week, going into the 3rd week. I had 2 that I talked to on Monday. I think it was, on Monday. And I basically told them, I said, you have until the end of the week to get it done. They came back with the dog ate my homework and I had a flat tire and COVID and all those things. And I said, well, if you're not done by Friday, I'm going to rescind your offer because we talked about this and you said you had no problem getting everything done. So guess what? They both messaged me back. I'll have it done by Friday. And if they don't, we'll rescind the offer because if they don't get it done in those first 2 to 3 weeks, they're not going to come. It's just a waste of time. So from that perspective, Amy, I'm going to, if you don't mind talking about 2 things, and then I'll let you what you got to do. Yes.
Let me throw something in on that.
Please do. Please do.
And guys, the reason why he says that is because when we first started here, I remember the first 3 people were a month and a half, still studying. Guess what? Those people that took more than really 3 weeks never came. So really, it's just about saving your time and working with the ones that really truly want it, because time's the one thing, guys, that you're not going to get back. So don't be afraid. Like Corey says, just, if it's not for them right now, cut them loose and go on and find ones that won't want it. They're a lot better to work with anyway, but I digress.
No, thank you for saying, you guys hear me say this stuff week in and week out. And I know sometimes it goes in one ear and out the other because I just say the same thing over and over because it is a process and you have to trust the process. But the more that you trust the process, I'm not making this stuff up. It was the same thing at Combined Insurance. It was the same thing for those of us that were at the practice company. It was the same thing there. If you give them any more than that 2 to 3 weeks, they don't show up. Life happens. And they lose the excitement that they had when you first talk to them, interview them, whatever. I'm still having some minor issues right now I'm trying to spend some time tomorrow after dial day, getting in contact with Calendly to try to get that stuff fixed. So I will put my calendar out there when I'm available to do interviews. So you guys, if you have somebody that's interested, let me know. You can give them my calendar. They can drop themselves in there and I'm happy to interview any and all candidates, any and all of them. Thank you, Tim, for adding on to that. So there's 2 things, 2 little minor tweaks. Amy has been on some admin and recruiting meetings and all kinds of other stuff. So there's a little tweak out there that a lot of people are doing that's kind of speeding up AML process. I don't know how this became a thing. So Amy, if you could cover that. And then the second thing is adding license. So if somebody is, let's say their resident state is Missouri and they want to add Illinois, so they go out, they pay for their non-resident license in Illinois. How do they add that license? Do they have to put it in Insurance Bay? If you could cover those two things, that would be fantastic. And thank you.
Yeah. Real quick though, to kind of piggyback on what Tim piggybacked on you about the 2 weeks. So
Sure.
If you're not active or your recruit's not active, or there's nothing going on, there's just no action, whether it's getting licensed, getting contracted, active on meetings or Slack, you eventually get removed from things because you're not responding. And then all of a sudden, if you show up, it's like, oh, well, they're still here. We've removed you from stuff. So if you are active and just kind of hanging out for a while, not doing anything, just stay in touch with your upline so that, we're all aware of what's going on and we don't remove you from systems, because we do like spring cleaning every so often. Okay, on to AML. So there's a couple of contractors that have been using WebCE for their AML, not using the Assurance Bay AML, not using LIMRA. It does cost. Brandon did it yesterday and it was $9.50. I went in because I'm going to go through it just because Brandon ran into some hiccups. So I'm going to try to find some time today to do it myself. Not because I need it, but just because I want to see how it works, so that if anybody goes through it and has questions, then I can help
Amy,
you.
if you have to pay for that, I'll reimburse you. Just to let you know. I don't want to forget that.
So around $10. Anyway, so once you do sign up though, you do get discounts for future CE. Apparently if you do WebCE, the only other CE you have to do the only other AML you have to do is Prosperity. You don't have to do a separate AMM one. You don't have to do anything other than WebCE and Prosperity. So again, around $10. And it's basically a one-stop shop except for Prosperity, but no matter what, you'd have to do Prosperity anyway. We just have issues with LIMRA often. I can't do anything about that. That's up to you to figure out. If you want to continue to use LIMRA or send your people to LIMRA, that's fine. If you want to continue to have them do the Assurance Bay and the AMAM and LIMRA and Prosper, whatever you want to do. I'm just saying WebCE, according to these two contractors, is like they've never once had an issue. Never once. So just throwing that out there if you want to use it. Again, I'll take it today if I can find some time and take notes and see what I can get to relay back to you guys if anybody wants any information.
The reason it might be $9.50 in some states and $15 in others is because it could be something with the states with CE. It just might cost in some states. It's the only thing I thought about that last night when you and I were discussing that yesterday. So thank you, Amy. Next thing, Amy, if you don't mind going over if some non-resident license, what someone would do if they got a non-resident license.
Okay. So once you get your license, you just need to make sure that they're Insurance Bay. You need to send me a PDF of a copy of all your licenses and all of your carriers with your writing numbers. And I will send that to corporate, who will get that to your carriers. It's a pretty simple process, but you just got to make sure that those licenses are in Insurance Bay and that I get a copy of them, any new ones, and all your writing numbers and carriers.
So just so we know, I get a license in Washington, the state of Washington, as a non-resident license. I get a copy of that license, which they can go on to NIPR, print, scroll down the page, print license, go out there. You can screenshot it, save it, whatever. I get a copy of said license, and then I need to message you to get a link to Assurance Bay, correct?
No, everybody should have a link to Assurance Bay. If yours is dead or expired, reach out to me. Don't Google it. By now, I think pretty much most people on this call have been told that once you get Assurance Bay link, you need to save it as a favorite or bookmark it. If you have any problems, just reach out to me, but please don't Google Assurance Bay, or you'll end up getting contracted with another agency. But yeah, just go to Assurance Bay. If you need the link, let me know. Make sure your licenses are there. And then don't take a picture from a computer screen. Like, here's my phone. I'm going to take a picture of the computer screen and send it to you. They need an actual PDF that's clear to read. So, yeah.
So
And
go
that's
back
me
some-
with all your writing numbers and carriers.
So they go into Assurance Bay. If they don't have their link, reach out to you via Slack. Get a link to Assurance Bay, guys. And the reason I'm telling you guys are all recruiters, you're going to have your agents do this. I promise you, they're going to do this. They're going to Google Assurance Bay. They're going to go in. They're going to do something. They're going to attach themselves to another agency someplace else. So get the license, PDF format. If they don't have their Assurance Bay saved, reach out to Amy via Slack. She's going to send you Assurance Bay link. You're going to log in. You're going to upload your license to Assurance Bay. Once you upload the license, you're going to send a PDF copy of that license to Amy and your agent numbers with the carriers. And then Amy's going to send that to home office so they can get you set up with those non-resident states. Anything else, Amy, or did I miss any steps in that?
No, sounds about right.
Okay.
I mean, there's always kinks and everything. Sometimes things are
Absolutely.
different, but the basics, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason we wanted to add this wrinkle to what we're doing, guys, is as live transfer and, doing virtual sales and that kind of stuff, people are going to start venturing out and getting licenses in other states. So we want to make sure you guys understand that process so that you guys can then have a conversation with your agents ahead of time. And if we can head things off before, we're all better for it, right? So anybody have any questions about adding a license to yourself or what an agent should do in that standpoint?
I have a question about Florida.
Yes, sir.
So I have an agent that just with Prosperity, they're in Florida now, so I have to be as well. Well, I have to go county by county too, or does just one state license cover everything, regardless of what counties they work?
One state license. And then what happens is when that agent sells, and that, because as you just mentioned, most of the counties, I think they range anywhere between $6 all the way up to 25. What happens is if that agent writes in a county that you're not in, the state, the carrier will then check with the state to make sure you're licensed. They'll charge you that whatever fee, $6 to $25 fee, and then they'll release your commission.
Okay, great.
Yeah, pretty simple. Yeah. And understand, guys, Florida is one of those states that it takes a little bit. You have to get fingerprinted. I can't remember what the name of the places, but they're all over the place. I know the one here in St. Louis, one of them is right down the street from my place. When I got my Florida license, I applied for it. It came back. I had to go get the fingerprinting stuff done. Did it. No big deal.
Identigo.
I knew it was ISO. I was thinking IGO, but I knew that was the Foresters and Mutual of Omaha's application. Thank you, Tim. Mark, does that help?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. So as Amy mentioned, WebCE and Prosperity, you guys can still do LIMRA. You can still have your people do LIMRA, but we have no connection. So if something gets messed up or something's lost, we can't help them at all. And that's pretty much it with that now. So if you're going to have your guys use WebCE, then they can do that, do Prosperity, and they don't have to do anything else. Pretty simple process. Also, hopefully I'm saying this right. With HCMS, make sure that there's no dashes, hyphens, or underscores when people are putting their information in, because the HCMS system can't read that. So it'll throw it off. I know this is minor stuff, but then when it happens, hopefully it'll click in your head. All right.
I think you can use underscores, not 100%. Assurance Bay is the same way. Sorry, my dogs. I ran in here when I heard you. My dogs shredded some paper towels all over my living room.
All right.
Yeah. So Assurance Bay and HCMS, you can't do that. So just use the same email address for both of them. That's it.
Yeah, because I know that happens. So if that happens and some people are coming back, then, hey, this isn't working. That's probably why. I wanted to, something else that we don't talk about a whole lot, but I think it's important, just so that we're all on the same page, because there's 11 of us on here that are recruiting, and we have other people we have the people from Aflac that just started here. They've already recruited 6 or 7 people. Tim's daughter, Mariana, she recruited someone last night and has somebody else coming behind that she's working on. which was a great, fun conversation to have with her yesterday. But as we get bigger, the tighter the process has to be, or we're going to be all over the place. And it just makes it more difficult for everyone. So we have the processes. So I want to put something on the screen really quickly, something that you guys have all seen before. If you haven't, I'm not going to put a whole bunch of slides up here, but I do want you guys to see this just so you have a good understanding of what's in front of you. Okay. So the first thing is I had somebody ask me yesterday, an agent that's starting to recruit asked me yesterday about integrity. Eric and those guys put a video out there. It's where Mark was at, had the great fortune of being able to go to Boca Raton last week. But I want to just give you guys just a quick highlight. Now, some of this information might be off just a tad bit, but I want to make sure everybody understands integrity. If you're here to recruit and you're here to build an organization, most of you guys are probably either thinking about it or like, is integrity in my future? Is it something that I want to do? Or I just want to have a couple people that can help make a few extra $1,000s a month, residual income. Here's integrity. Essentially, when you get your agency to about 750K, and Mark and Tim, you guys can jump in at any time. You guys probably know all of this or more. But essentially, in short, it's getting your agency to that 750,000 issue pay a month. Okay. Once you get there, integrity is going to start to, you don't have to worry about, do I have to reach out to them? They're going to reach out to you. And what they're going to do is start looking and digging into, did you go out and buy the Ferrari, right? Because you're making $60,000, $70,000 a month. Are you reinvesting back into leads for your agents? Are you reinvesting back into programs to help build your team? Are you reinvesting back into offices? Are you reinvesting in training? Are you reinvesting in lead systems, et cetera? And all the other million things that could go into that, right? That's the first thing. So if they see you're doing a good thing there, and they see that you actually know how to run a business and your business is continuing to thrive and grow, and it's not top heavy, right? I'll give you guys an example, and I can say the name because it's been thrown out there and everybody that is kind of looking at these things know this. So there's a guy named Claude Perry here that has a huge agency, but he only has one real leg in that agency. That one leg is doing 90% of all of Claude's business. Now, great for him, right? Because he's making a lot of money and, his team's doing well and all this other stuff, but he only has one leg that's doing anything. So let me ask you a question. Just think about this from a business standpoint and look at it from an integrity standpoint. If you've got one leg that's doing 90% of your business and you're doing $2 million a month, right? Who should get the integrity partnership? Claude or that team that's doing 90% of his business? Makes sense, right? Now let's take 3 steps back. If you look at the integrity model and the family first model for what it is, it says no one can hold you back. So the model and the process stands true to itself. Alondra, I can't remember her boyfriend's name.
Oh, geez.
Somebody say something.
Thought you were frozen.
You were going robotic for a little bit.
Oh, am I good now?
Yeah,
You're good right now.
That's weird. I never lost signal. Anyway, so I apologize, guys. I don't know what's going on. I got full signal here. So basically, Alondra and her, I don't even know what her boyfriend is. They're building an organization. They moved out to Vegas with Andrew Taylor to kind of be under his guidance. But what I'm getting at is they're 90% of Claude's business. So because of that, they're actually going to get an integrity deal before Claude because they're 90% of Claude's business. What I was saying, and I don't know if this part got blurred out or not, that's how it should be, right? That's what Family First says it is. You cannot be held back. Christy, I can't hold you back if you go out and recruit 10 people and you blow it up. Neither can Tim. That's how it should be. So I love hearing those kind of stories. Good for Claude, right? But I love hearing those stories about Alondra and those guys because they're doing the work. They should reap the rewards of it. They should get an integrity partnership. All right, I digress. 750K month in and month out. Integrity's going to start reaching out to you. They're going to start looking at some things, your books and all that kind of stuff, right? And what they're going to tell you is you need to push to get to 1 million. For some reason right now, 1 million is a big number. Trust me, that number is going to move. When you get to 1 million issue pay a month, then that's when things really start to look up. They start to basically come in and look at your business and say, you need to do X, Y, and Z and stay on this path for a consistent period of time. And then they come in and buy your business. Now, I've heard anywhere roughly 5 times. I've heard up to 6 times, whatever. We know what's millions and millions of dollars. Okay. They also, what you give up though, is your bonuses. The bonuses is where it's at, because once somebody hits 145, you're no longer directly compensated from that team. What happens is your bonuses. So you have guys like Dave Witcher, Eric Amati, these guys, they're making 40, 50, 60. Dave this year has had 4 monthly bonus checks that have been over 6 figures. Think about that. And I know it doesn't seem like much, guys, but we average 28, 30,000 a week. Think about that. That's the 100,000 a month, right? 100,000 a month issue pay. If we just did that, that's a $1.2 million business. So we'll issue a little bit over 2 million this year, our first full year, which is crazy, right? And it's just going to continue to get bigger. I mean, hell, there's 11 of us on here in a recruiting meeting. Anybody have any questions about that? Okay, 2 more things. Once that happens, once you get to that point and they buy your business, you stay on board because you're the face of your franchise, right? They don't want that to just fall apart and go away. But then you get profit sharing from there. The more your business grows, the bigger your profit sharing. They offer a salary. I've heard 2.25, I've heard 250. So let's just call it someplace between 2 and 250 is your salary, right? Who knows? It might go up, might go down, who knows? But company card, I've been told, cell phone, all that other stuff. Those are just some of the additional perks. But the bigger your business grows, the more money you continue to make year over year over year. And then they throw stock options and all that kinds of stuff in there as well. That's why you have people that are going to be worth millions and hundreds of millions of dollars when those things happen. So Mark, Tim, anything that you guys would add to that I've missed, or any significant add-ons or takeaways, please?
Just that it's a real thing. There's going to be, in the next 6 months, quite a few people get their deals from what I'm hearing. So, hopefully this time next year, it's Corey we're talking about with his deal, because things are rolling now. As we continue to grow the team, it's an opportunity for every one of us here. So just take it seriously and don't think it's for somebody else that's doing something different than we are. We're doing the same things everybody else is. You just got to keep hammering away.
Mark, I appreciate you saying that, but I really do. And I know it's easy to say when we hit integrity, but when anybody that knows me, I'm huge into giving and giving back. And I can tell you guys, when that does happen, it's going to make a lot of you guys' worlds a lot easier, because as we continue to build and residuals and those I'm just going to throw it back into the business, because it's just like adding fuel to a fire, to the fire. There's just no reason all of us can't have integrity partnerships. There's just not, if it's something you decide to dig into. And a couple of people that were there in that video that Eric Amati made, that's on YouTube. I know I posted it on Slack as well. I'll try to see if I can go back out and find it. But one of the things, sorry if you guys can't see me, I'm looking for something. One of the things that there was a lady there, and I heard her, of course, I've thought this a million times, but she said, I didn't really think that, I just never really thought integrity was for me until she went to that meeting. And she said, it's for anybody that wants to go after it. So just going to that meeting kind of changed her paradigm. And of course, we had Mark talk about that last Friday. So let's see if I can find this really quickly. If I can't, I'll see if I can find it. Integrity has there's a grid out there, and it shows all the companies, that they own. So just so you guys know, Integrity is 14.5 billion, probably pushing 15 billion liquid. We're one of the largest insurance companies in the country. Mark, I don't know if you remember the statistics, and if you're driving or something, I apologize. But do you remember what they were saying, how big we are compared to like some NBA, NFL, NHL? Yeah.
Bigger than every professional sports franchise in any sport. Bigger than Time Magazine. Gosh, they had a graphic of every major company you've heard of, and Integrity's bigger than all of them. Specifically, gosh.
We're talking Fortune 500.
Oh yeah. And the other thing about that is this is still just getting going. Their stock is not publicly traded yet. I mean, everybody's speculating on when that'll happen. Sean's like, I don't know, in the next 2 to 4 years, possibly, but I'm just guessing. That's what he said. He was very transparent about everything. He won't tell us what the stock's worth. He's not allowed to, but he made it clear that everybody in this company can have the same shot as anybody else. Nobody's above anybody else. If you do the work, check all the boxes, you're going to get your deal.
Yeah. And I will tell you guys this too, just to be thinking about. I know Renee has dug into this and has found herself an administrative person. It's just going to make your life easier, and it forces you to, it keeps you in the activity because you have payroll to meet, right? Actually, my opinion, is a smart thing to do. Mark probably does this at a higher level than anyone. But I will tell you this, think about it from this standpoint. You have somebody that's here, that just helping you build your business. When you become an integrity partner, so do they. Think about that. Like, you could literally change someone else's life. So I'll put it out there publicly. Like, when Amy and I talk, she's like, your business, it's not my business. It's not my business at all. I can't not do this without everybody that's here and everybody that's on our team, period. Right? So we have these calls to make sure we're all in the same structure and doing the same thing. And now she's changed her vernacular and puts a smile on my face when she says it. We're building our business because we are. It takes all of us. Yeah. But Mark, thank you for chiming in and saying that, because it is true. If you want integrity, you can go get it. The integrity thing, guys, for FFL is only 2.5, 3 years old. FFL is only an 8-year-old company. The next closest IMO to us in our space is $100 million away. So I say that to say this: we have more integrity partners than any other organization that is attached to integrity. And there are a ton of them. I'm going to see if I can't find the integrity map. I know Tim and I have sent it to each other a couple of times, but it shows you all the companies across the country that's attached to integrity. So, any questions, any concerns, anything that you guys hadn't heard before, or something you maybe heard that we didn't share this morning? Fantastic. So here's what I wanted to show you guys, and I'm doing this for a reason. Why not do it, right? Two things, just to kind of put a mental or an actual visual in front of you. So if you're writing, and I'm the world's guiltiest of this. I let a lot of administrative stuff get in my way. And I made a commitment to Tim and Mark and some of the other guys on the leadership call the other day. And I stand by that. I'll do everything I can to hit that number, everything, as Tim says, short of an illegal act. But as a leadership standpoint, if you want people to run with you, for one form or fashion, you should be doing anywhere between 25 to 30K issue pay a month. Now, you run your own organization, you are your own independent contractor, and you are Polsack LLC, you are Williams LLC or Good Life, you are worldwide, worldwide, those kinds of things. You are your own entity, so you do what you want. But if you're at 105, just from an example standpoint, you're doing 30K a month. At 105, you're going to do basically 31.5 a month. Now you have Rob on your team that you recruited. Rob doesn't need much of your help. He's experienced. He's here, and he's making 100%. He goes out and does 20K. That means you make $1,000 of income from what Rob's done. But let's say you have Sue. Sue needs a little bit of help. She doesn't quite have all the experience that Rob has. So you put a little bit of bigger split between you and Sue, because you're going to be answering a lot of Sue's calls in the beginning and those kind of things, right? Common sense, 10% split there, you're going to make $1,500. And same thing with Ben. Ben's not as experienced. He's doing $2,500 a week, getting himself started, getting going. Same thing, a little bit bigger split, 10,000. You're going to make 1,500. So we've all seen the numbers. We all know the stuff. Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
No, you're good. No, you're fine.
I want to speak on this for a minute right here.
Sure,
this is
please.
One of the issues that we have with new agents, and they wonder why they're not getting the top premium, and sometimes they don't understand that if I have to train you, if you're brand new and I have to train you, my time is valuable, and they don't understand that. I gotta have an agent right now that is really mad because they're not getting what the commission premium that they think they should get, and we have to realize. They have to realize that the time that we take out of our lives or whatever to help them, it's taken away from us working, and it's taken away from maybe some other people. So that time is valuable. So if I do have to work with you, yeah, maybe 100 is the most you can get, and somebody else may be at 105 and 110 or whatever like that. So that's an issue that I have right there. So I just wanted to share that.
No, and that's why we're here. And I love when you guys interact and you guys do this, because maybe you say it and somebody else gets it, right? But it's exactly that point. The point that I'm making is the more we're upfront about this, guys, and the more, it doesn't seem like that big a deal until somebody gets pissed off because they heard somebody else was making 110. Where if you have the conversation with them, right? And I'm sure, Gregory, you did. I'm not stepping on anybody's feet here. But if you said, I'm at 120, I'm putting you at 100, okay? And the reason I'm putting you at 100 is because I'm going to have to spend a lot of time training you, working with you, developing you to get through this process, right? That's time I could be going out and making money for my family. So I'm going to teach you how to fish if you want, and setting those upfront contracts with them, right? The reason I put this visual up there because this makes a lot of sense, and I want this to be burned in you guys' brain. So thank you for speaking up there, Gregory. Now, here's the reason why I wanted to put this visual out there and throw this at you guys. And the reason I said 120. Now, when we first got here, Tim and I were told when it was just the two of us, like, hey, take small splits, take small splits. So you're doing a 5% split, not realizing that 5% split, in full transparency, you're going to have chargebacks, you're going to have all that stuff. So that 5 is really a 3. Now, think about this for a second, and I'm going to be a complete idiot for just a second. If you're helping someone, just think about this for just a second, and maybe this is just me, but you're helping somebody or you're trying to help them. They're not listening to you, right? They're trying to do it the way they want to do it. We've all had this before. They're trying to do it and they keep screwing up, and you're making 3%. If somebody else will chime into this, I would appreciate it. What are you going to start to do with that person? You're going to probably start not taking their phone calls or sending them short text messages back and everything, because it's not worth your time. But think about it. If you're working with this person and you can have a common sense business conversation with them, and there's a 15 or 20% split, you're actually going to make some money if they go out and do what you're trying to show them how to do. Does anybody agree or disagree with that?
100%.
100. Yep, you're 100% right.
So here's the deal. From a psychological standpoint and a business standpoint, because none of this needs to be personal. Guys, I'm telling you guys straight up, when I'm doing what you guys decide to do is up to you. But I think if we all have a process as leadership, because if you have somebody on your team, you're in leadership, 100%. I'm starting most people between 15 and 20% split between me and them. When they sell their first $10,000, which means guess what? They actually went to work and helped 10 people. I'm going to bump them up 5%. Now, here's the deal. It's a great conversation to have. It's a positive conversation to have. You're rewarding somebody for hitting a goal. So what does that do for them psychologically? And how many places do you know right now? Hell, people don't even want to go to work right now that are getting 5% raises just for doing their job. Most people are lucky to get anything at all, or 3% at the most. Now, once they hit 25,000, and it's pretty easy to see because you guys all get the IP report. If you want it, send me a Slack. We get it every Wednesday or Thursday. I'm happy to send it to you. Everything's transparent here, at least with our agency. When they hit 25,000 issue pay, then I'm gonna bump them up another 5. So guess what we're at? If we started at 20, I'm doing a lot of stuff to help you along the way. I might even buy you some leads. I might be doing all kinds of stuff. But now, if you hit 25,000, you're not calling me anymore for the most part, right? And you're out there doing the job. So guess what? Now there's only a 10% split between you and I. That's pretty standard, right? For our organization. And guess what? That person's not going to be pissed off because they know what you were doing. You were helping them out in the beginning. Now there's only a 10% split. And that's pretty easy to swallow when you know somebody's making a 10% split that helped you. Anybody agree or disagree with that?
That's how I do it.
Yep.
Perfect. So I just wanted to put a visual there for you guys, because I think it's sometimes if you can see things other than me just sitting here talking, it makes a lot more sense. So what I'm getting at, I know I talk a lot, but 15 to 20, I think is kosher. If you're going to do the 10,000 and then the 25,000, give them another 5%. I mean, hell, they can knock 25,000 out in their first month, but people do that in weeks if they're really out there working, kind of busting their tail. So anyway, just wanted to go there. Anything, thank you, Mark and Gregory. Anything else anyone else has to add, something you might be doing different or something that doesn't make sense from that standpoint?
Corey,
Here's the only... Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to remember what Eric Hamadi told us at your grand opening about what a gift it is to be able to give that comp away. Like, we control that, and not being from the industry, that's a big deal, apparently, if you're from another IMO and come over here. So the ability to actually give away comp like that is pretty powerful, and it really made me think about it again. And every situation's different. If you've got somebody that's here to just recruit, then you need to give them a little bit more room. So you're going to probably bring them a little higher. But if somebody's out from the outside the industry, like Corey said, and going to need a lot of help, then, you know, get paid for your time.
And ain't nothing wrong with profit, and there's nothing wrong with making money. I know people say it's the root of all evil. It's not. What you do with it is the root of all evils. Thanks, Mark. Tim?
Yeah, the only thing that I would, you know, kind of throw into that is when you're bringing people on, you know, let them know, forecast it out for them that, hey, you know, here's you're starting at whatever 110. Here's why when you hit 10,000, like Corey was saying, so that they have that goal. And you know, I can't stress it enough when I say this, because like Corey said, when we, you know, 5% split, and then all of a sudden we're just getting hammered with question after question of people not, you know, going through the boot camp. And again, it just pulls time away from you. Whereas over here, you don't really need to recruit anybody to make a very large income. Now, I highly recommend it. You know, that's the only way you're going to get to the integrity deal. But just be super intentional with your time. Okay. And again, don't be afraid to tell people what they need to hear, or what, you know, so that again, you're either going to blow them in or you're going to blow them out, you know, when it comes to this business, because time is the one thing we cannot get back. And if that person's not doing what you recommend, you know, then, you know, you need to have that conversation with them. Say, hey, you know, you need to be on the meetings. You need to do this. If you can't do that, then, you know, hey, I'm not going to be as available.
I'm telling you guys, there's just something about taking control. Thank you, Tim. Taking control of your business. He's probably going to hate that I'm going to do this, but Ramon is doing an absolute, and this is not to take away from anyone else. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job. Fantastic job. And I know he doesn't want to call me, and I keep telling him, if you need me, call me, but he's taking the bull by the horns and he's figuring this thing out. So when we did the meeting, the next level training, Ramon was there, and I had a conversation with him in front of everybody. Like, Ramon's getting ready to get a 5% increase. He's just a couple grand away from getting that increase. And I'm excited to have, we already had the conversation, but I'm excited to pull the trigger and to be able to do that. So I'm going to make 5% more, but who cares? Ramon's doing the work. Ramon should be able to take that additional 5% back to his family. And he's got an agent that he's recruited, that he's working with, that I did the interview. That's all I did. Ramon has done everything else with this guy. And I think Alex is on a 2 or 3 week string now. And that's because of Ramon and Ramon's leadership. But Ramon's following the process. And because of that, he's not calling. And I want him to call if he needs help, but he's not calling me. And he's doing the things he needs to do to make money for his family, protect families, and build a team. So Ramon, I guess congratulations to you again for getting your 5% here in a couple of weeks. But that's what this is. So I think you just went off mute, Ramon.
I'll try to get it today. You said a couple thousand.
Yeah. Well, you end up just doing it anyway. But yeah, I appreciate all you're doing, man. I really do. And it's awesome and it's refreshing. Amy brought you up and we were having our leadership meeting the other day. And she's like, man, it's refreshing to have somebody like that that's coming here, looking at this as a business, running it as a business and all that stuff. Not to take away from anyone else, but I know I work directly with Ramon, and it is a breath of fresh air. It really is. So anyway, congratulations to you, Ramon.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Let's see. Tim brought up boot camp. That was the next thing on my list. I only have a couple more things, guys, and then we'll go through the process just so everybody kind of gets it, because I've gotten a couple phone calls this week already about people that have been on the meeting. I think when you get that first recruit and you're like, oh my God, I sit on these meetings every single week and now it's live. What do I do? So the boot camp, as Tim mentioned, guys, it's pretty apparent. If you start saying, hey, I need you to, once you apply for your license, I need you to start working on the boot camp stuff. It'll take you a couple days to get through. You're going to get a 30% discount. Once you finish it, your certificate, send it to me, send it to Alicia, which you'll have her email when you get done. Because here's the deal. If they go through that boot camp, 50% of the questions they're going to have when they get started will be answered. And it's pretty apparent when somebody doesn't do the boot camp, because the questions they start asking, you're like, there's no way you went through that boot camp. There's no way. So you're going to save yourself a lot of time. And as Tim mentioned before, so one thing we can't get back. Let's see. Talked about commissions. Anybody have any questions about our website, our recruiting website, how to use it? Okay, I mentioned I'm going to be getting my stuff together with Calendly. We talked about AML. I got a message yesterday about work spots. Anyone have any questions about how work spots works? I'm sure this group does. There are no stupid questions on here, guys. If you don't, I'm happy to run through it. Pretty simple process. Does anyone have any questions about how work spots works? Okay. If you are here in St. Louis, I think on the 20th, I have the printer people finally coming. So you'll be able to print wirelessly. You'll have a number. If you're on WorkSpot, you'll have a number. You'll simply put that number in, and then you'll be able to print 250 prints a month. So anybody that's done printing at Office Max or anything like that, 250 prints is probably more than $99. So you're writing off that. You're getting to print from the office electronically and all that kind of stuff as well. Anyway, that's coming here in the next couple of weeks for those of you guys that are here in St. Louis. So let's go through the process here really quick, then I'll let you guys go if you don't have any additional questions. So I think we're doing a really good job with the interview stuff. If you guys want my help, please let me know. I'm happy to do any and all interviews. So you've gone through the process with the person, you've met them at the restaurant. Hey, you were a great server, blah, 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 blah. Like to show you, show you something and all that. We interview them. They say yes. They say yes. Let's say this person is not licensed. You're going to go online. You're going to go and complete the onboarding form, which all of you guys at this point have either seen or completed. You're going to complete the onboarding form. You're going to put all the information in there. Please make sure to put their full middle name. We still have people that aren't sending that in for whatever reason. Their full middle name, first name, middle name, last name, all the information that's on the form. When you hit submit, that form comes to us. We then email it back to you so you have it for your records in a clean PDF format. And then from there, Amy sends out a welcome email. That welcome email has a discount code for their state, okay? And it's for the company we use, it's MFX or whatever, whichever one it is. Can't remember right now, okay? Take them through that process. Let them know what they have to do. And make sure you're explaining this to them in parts. If you give all of this to them, they're gonna get confused. Also, once they do that and they actually, to give them the 2 weeks to make sure you're having your upfront contract with them and your conversation with them, go from there. Once they get that done, then you'll transition to the next part. Any questions at all about what happens for a non-licensed person? Perfect. So once that non-licensed person becomes licensed, you need to let Amy and I know via Slack that that person is licensed, because once they get their license, and that's when we'll start the second process, which we're going to go over now. Same thing. You've interviewed the person's licensed. So you're talking about a new person now. That person's licensed. You fill out the onboarding form. You have to have their NPN number because we need that for HCMS, right? So that person comes on, you do all the stuff. You send everything to us on the onboarding form. We then send that form back out to you. So you have it in a PDF format. And then Amy sends a welcome email out to that person. Okay. Or you're doing it yourself. I think Gregory does his own. Send it out. They get the email from HCMS. The second email that they get from HCMS is basically congratulating them for filling out the stuff for HCMS. And the third email they get from HCMS will have the link for SurancePay in it. Pretty small unless they change it down at the bottom. I know some people miss it. Make sure you tell your new agents that, because they will mess that up or go on Google and look up SurancePay for whatever reason. Anybody have any questions up to there? Perfect. Amy, if I screw this up, let me know. I know we do this every single week, but so once they do that, they're going to go to SurancePay. They're going to do the big four: Americo, AIG, John Hancock, Mutual of Omaha. You're also going to send them Prosperity. Remember, they have to do AML with Prosperity. They will have Prosperity, barring that there's nothing in their background, in about 24 to 48 hours. I highly recommend that you have a conversation with them prior to that. Once you get Prosperity, you should start buying leads and you should start going to help people. Okay. I don't know if we can make that any clearer, because some people will start to go, I got to wait for all my carriers. And then you start realizing what they're waiting for is they're scared to actually do the job. That's what's happening. All right. Once they get the big four plus Prosperity, they're going to go back into HCMS. And that's when they're going to apply for the other carriers: AMM, Foresters, Aetna, Great Western, Trans. Now, we all know, I'm not going to go over all of them. They all have all the other carriers in there. Please let them know when they go in there, do not just go down the line and check all the boxes. We say it every week. And every week people go in and check all the boxes. So make sure they're just going to get declined, guys. And it's just, again, a waste of time. Anybody have any questions about that so far? Keep in mind, if you have people, agents in Iowa, Massachusetts, Michigan, New Jersey, Rhode Island, or Vermont, and they have AMAM, you also need to get Occidental. AMAM and Occidental are one and the same. Occidental is in those 6 states that I just mentioned. Any questions about that? Okay, fantastic. Amy, if you're not getting attacked by dogs, anything else that you'd like to mention or anything I forgot?
Nope. You got it.
Just a real quick question, Corey.
Yes, sir.
With Occidental, is that actually a different writing number than the AMAM writing number?
That is a herb question. Amy?
Yes, they're 2 companies, but the same company. So it's like when
Okay.
Pepsi puts out an iced tea, it's still Pepsi. It's just a different product
Gotcha.
in a sense. So yeah,
Right. Now,
same company,
so
but you'll have 2 writing numbers and they offer different things.
I guess the other question, Amy, was the fact that earlier you said something about the writing numbers in, providing the licensure for the non-resident state and the writing number. So I've not ever done non-resident licensure. So are the writing numbers non-resident, are they the same for each company, or is it a different writing number? Like say Mutual of Omaha, if you go to Tennessee, do you get a different writing number for Tennessee, or is it the same?
You want me to tackle that one, Amy? It's pretty easy.
Oh yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sure. If Roger, if I'm understanding your question correctly, you're asking if I get a license or I get a license in another state, are my numbers the same?
Yes.
Okay. 2 things. The first one is yes, and here's why. The number is the same because it's the number that's on your license. The NPN number will be the same because that's your national producer. Your state license number will be different. Okay. Let me show you guys a really quick example of what I'm talking about here. Your state license will be different because you have to have a separate license for each state. Case in point, I'm going to show you guys a couple of my licenses here just so you see what I'm talking about. Okay. That's what NPN, National Producer Number. Now, a couple years ago, not to give you guys a insurance history lesson, back when I remember them talking about this, they were going to go straight NPN several years ago. Just do a straight National Producer Number, and it would be one number across the board, and that would be your number for all states. Okay. So you guys see my Florida license here? It says my name and it says license number. Did I lose you guys?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. I got scared for just a second. So my state license number in Florida is W7288938, but you don't see anything about an NPN number on there. This goes back to Mark's question earlier. Do I need to get a different license for each? Because each one of those counties in Florida is a separate license with a separate county license number that you'll probably never get. But the companies are they have to check to make sure you're licensed in that county, or they get you licensed if your license is active. Hopefully that wasn't too much. That's my license number in Florida. But if I go to Washington, at the very top there, you can see the number there up at the very, very top. And I think they put it, yeah, right here. That's my license number in Washington. Right there. But you also don't see, sorry for dragging that around like that, what you don't see is an NPN number here. Just how they do their license. So let me go to South Carolina. Top left-hand corner. South Carolina's license, 6405962. Guess what that number is? That number is my NPN number. That's my national producer number. Now, I'm going to show you guys one more thing, and hopefully I'm not making this confusing. I'm going to show you my Missouri license. Now, South Carolina, most of the licenses look just like this one. Keep in mind, on my South Carolina license, you see where it says license number 6405962, that's my NPN. But in the top right-hand corner, there's nothing there. Now, for those of you guys that have Missouri license, let me see. So if I can find this really quickly. Oh God, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? So what I'm going to show you guys here really quickly, if I can find it, is, and that's weird, I can't find it right now. Just overlooking it. I was going to show you guys, what, there it is. Here's my, here it is right here. You guys still see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at the left-hand side of the top of the license for Missouri. This looks exactly like South Carolina, except it says Missouri. And now my license number 157189, that is my license number for the state of Missouri. But if you look to the right, you can see NPN 6405962. So Roger, hopefully I'm not confusing you or anyone else on here. Some states have a state license number. Some states just use your NPN. So let's just say you're in Missouri and you apply for Illinois. Illinois might use their state, you have a state number as well as an NPN, or they might just use your NPN. Does that help?
Yeah, you answered it. Thank you, Corey.
Okay. He's like, yeah, you just confused the hell out of me is what you did.
No, you got it, man. You got it.
So, and again, guys, for those of you guys that see this, here's Texas. Here's my Texas license, right? It's updated, but here's my Texas license. License number 2410516, right? That's my state license number. But nowhere on here do you see an NPN. So Texas has their own state number that you use. Why states do that, I have no idea, but that's how some states do it. Some recognize license, some do NPN. All right, take you guys around the world there. Okay, we're 7 minutes to the top of the hour. Does anybody have any other questions? Amy, anything else you have to add? Or anyone has anything to add this morning?
I'm good.
It's amazing how talking about recruiting week in and week out, and just these meetings take an hour, but I love these meetings because it just shows the growth and there's more and more people getting on here. So for those of you guys really quickly that are actually doing the zip ads, I'm reaching out to Savannah. Those were supposed to be set up. Amy can see it because she's attached to that. The messages I'm sending, they should have been started. So I'm going to reach out to her now to see what's going on with that. Those are $50 per location. So if you did Kansas City, that would be one. If you did New Orleans, that would be one. If you did Mobile, Alabama, that would be one. If you did Chicago, that would be one. If you did Peoria, Illinois, that would be one. So they're $50 per. Again, we'll run the ads behind the scene as they come in. You'll be notified. I will personally reach out to them and try to help get the interview set up, and then we can do the interview, them and myself. So that way, when they're passed off, there's not just somebody you don't know that's just being handed off to you, because that can be awkward sometimes. So, any questions? Any input? Fantastic. Well, we made it, guys. Thank you guys very much. If you guys need anything, I'm just a phone call or Slack away. And bye for now, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Thanks, Corey. Good luck, everybody.
You're welcome.